What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be looking at my top 5 favorite Akimbo weapons in Infinite Warfare. Now keep in mind, in Infinite Warfare there are actually 3 different ways to get Akimbo on your weapons. First up is the obvious one, the Akimbo attachment. This is available on all of the pistols as well as the M2187 shotgun. Next is going to be the variable mode of certain guns, like the Type 2 for instance. If you hold your swap weapon button with the Type 2, you pull out an Akimbo mode of that Type 2, which is by default technically classified as an SMG, and if you have the Butcher, it's going to be an Akimbo shotgun. Same thing goes with the RVN, although with the RVN, that is more of a melee weapon. You don't actually fire shots with that. It is a melee weapon, but technically it still is Akimbo. And then the third and final way to get Akimbo in this game is on only 2 weapons that we have so far in the game, and this is with the weapon perk Twinsanity. This weapon perk is currently only on the Augur Fury, which is the epic variant of the Augur, as well as the HVR Gemini. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's hop into my list, keeping in mind that this is my personal opinion, and if you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comment section below. And also, this is going to be in no particular order. So kicking it off with the first one, this is going to be the Kendall 44 in Akimbo mode with the Auto Sear attachment. That's a little addition I'm going to make when you have the Auto Sear attachment on it as well as Akimbo. And of course, laser sight is a great addition as well. This is an excellent setup, a lot of fun to use, and you can do very, very well with this as long as you get up close and personal. Without the Auto Sear attachment, it's still a usable gun in Akimbo mode, but it's just not quite as good as having that Auto Sear on there. Getting into number 2 on my list, this is something that I actually don't personally have, but I've picked it up several times, I've used it quite a bit, I've messed around with it, I've done testing with it. This is the Augur Fury. The Augur Fury is an Akimbo LMG, and as you continue firing it, as long as you're firing both guns, it actually tightens its hip spread value and gets more and more accurate as you keep shooting. Plus, once you wind up after the initial few shots, the rate of fire is very fast on the Augur Fury, and you can pick people off nearly instantly once you're wound up. I'm really hoping I get this sometime in the future. Unfortunately, this is still one of the guns that's locked behind the Quartermaster collection, so you can't craft it with salvage at this point. But if you have it and you haven't really used it yet, I would highly recommend giving it a go. Make sure you're firing both guns at the same time, and make sure you put laser sight on there as well. Moving on to number 3, this is the Akimbo Hornet. The Hornet is something I don't see used too often, probably because it's in its own little section of the secondaries, because it's the only classic secondary pistol. But when you pop the Akimbo attachment on here, and once again laser sight, I would highly recommend laser sight with every one of these guns if it's possible. These guns absolutely shred up close. Again, treat it like a shotgun though, get up close and personal, and these things absolutely melt people. For number 4, we have the new Magnum, which is called the Stallion 44. This gun is designed around hip firing, and when you put the Akimbo attachment on this, it actually increases your potential rate of fire, which is great, especially if you have a half-decent trigger finger. Even though it's a semi-auto and you don't have a ridiculous fire rate like the Kendall with Auto Sear or the Hornet, this thing has very high damage. It kills in just 2 shots in most of the situations you're going to be in with Akimbo mode, which again is going to be up close and personal. And I think one of the biggest reasons I really like this is just the aesthetics of it. Just having those Akimbo revolvers just looks so cool, it's so much fun to use, and it's something you can actually do quite well with if you treat them right. So finally, moving on to number 5 on my list, this is the Akimbo M2187 shotguns. Aside from the Type 2 Butcher, this is the only shotgun that you can currently dual wield in Infinite Warfare, and personally, I'm not a really big fan of the Type 2 Butcher in shotgun mode. I would much rather use these M2187s. They are very, very powerful. I know it can get on a lot of people's nerves when people use this, but you still have to play your situations right. You still have to treat it like a shotgun because it is a shotgun. It is quite easy to counter these by keeping your distance. But if you play your cards right, if you get up close and personal, and you alternate firing with each hand, you have the potential to absolutely dominate with these shotguns on certain maps. It's actually gotten to the point where I really don't like this shotgun unless I'm running it with the Akimbo attachment. The single 2187, it just rechambers way too slow, and therefore if you don't get the one-shot kill, you're almost always dead. With the Akimbo mode, you've got that second shot ready to go, so if you get somebody down to 1 health, you can just quickly finish them off with a second shot. And with that, we're going to wrap up my list for my top 5 Akimbo weapons in Infinite Warfare. Some people might be wondering why I didn't choose the HVR Gemini since it's an epic weapon and that's like the whole idea is it's an Akimbo weapon. Personally, I would much rather use everything that I have on my list than the HVR Gemini. I'm not saying the Geminis are a bad gun, it's just not really for me. But I'd like to know in the comment section below, what's your top 5 list for akimbo weapons in Infinite Warfare? Are there any that are on my list that you completely disagree with? And are there some that you definitely feel deserve a spot on this list? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.